A man who advises Vladimir Putin stepped up to a podium in Russia and quietly told the world what's coming. He said America is preparing to move its debt, trillions of dollars, onto a new kind of digital rail, a crypto settlement layer that would rewrite how money moves across the entire planet. He meant it as a warning. But if you understand what he's actually describing, it might be one of the most bullish things ever said out loud. Because a transformation that big needs an engine underneath it. Something built to settle value instantly, across borders, at a scale nations can trust. And there is one network that has spent 13 years quietly preparing for exactly this moment. So today we're not chasing hype. We're going to follow the signal, all the way to where XRP fits inside it. Take a breath, because if even half of this unfolds, we are still incredibly early. Quick and honest, from me to you. Nothing here is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I can't see the future. Nobody can. Everything I say about price is a scenario, an opinion, never a promise. So please, protect your family first. Do your own research, and never let anyone rush you into a decision. Not them, not me. Okay? Let's get into it. Let me set the scene for you, because the details matter. At the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, Russia, one of Vladimir Putin's senior advisors, a man named Anton Kobyakov, stood at a closing press briefing and said something that traveled across the world in hours. He said the United States is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency markets. He pointed to the size of America's debt, and he described a process where America would move part of that debt into digital dollars, into stablecoins, into what he called the crypto cloud. Now, I want to be careful and fair here, because this is where a lot of people online twisted his words. Kobyakov did not name XRP. He didn't hand us a secret list of coins. He was speaking as a rival government official, giving his own interpretation, his own accusation. That's important, and I'm not going to pretend he said something he didn't. But here's what makes this fascinating. Strip away the politics for a second. Strip away who said it and why, and look only at the mechanism he described. A superpower, preparing to move enormous amounts of value off the old financial pipes and onto new digital ones. Whether he meant it as a threat or a prophecy, he just described the single biggest shift in money that any of us will see in our lifetime. And when a man that close to the Kremlin is warning about it publicly, it tells you one thing for certain. This conversation is no longer theory. It's happening at the highest tables on Earth. So the real question isn't whether he likes it. The real question is, if the world's money really is moving onto digital rails, who built the rails? Let's think this through together, calmly, like adults. When Kobyakov talks about moving debt into stablecoins, he's pointing at something that is already underway in plain sight. In 2025, the United States passed its first real framework for dollar-backed digital tokens. That wasn't a rumor. That was law. And every compliant dollar stablecoin has to be backed by real, short-term US government debt. Sit with that for a moment, because it's beautiful in its simplicity. The more the digital dollar grows, the more US debt gets purchased to back it. A Russian official sees that and calls it a trick. An American policymaker sees the exact same thing and calls it demand for treasuries. Same machine, two different men describing it from opposite sides of the table. And this is the part almost nobody is connecting. A digital dollar is not just a number sitting in an app. It has to move. It has to settle. It has to travel from a bank in one country to a fund in another, in seconds, without a dozen middlemen taking a cut and 3 days of delay. Stablecoins are the cargo, but cargo doesn't move without a road. So when a Putin advisor warns that trillions are about to shift into a digital settlement layer, he is, without meaning to, asking the most valuable question in finance right now. What settles it all? Governments won't announce that part on a podium. It gets decided quietly, in pilot programs, in bank back offices, in infrastructure deals that never trend on social media. And that's exactly where the story stops being about Russia and starts being about a network most people still underestimate. Here's what most people miss, though. The road doesn't get built the day everyone's watching. It gets built in the years when nobody is. Okay, this is the heart of it. Let's talk about where XRP actually fits. The XRP Ledger was designed from day one for one specific job: moving value between parties instantly, cheaply, and across borders without pre-funding giant pools of idle cash in every country. It settles in 3 to 5 seconds. It's built around the same international messaging standard, ISO 20022, that the global banking system itself is adopting. And Ripple already issues its own regulated dollar stablecoin that lives on that ledger. Do you see it now? The thing Kobyakov described needing is the thing this network was built to be. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's guaranteed. That would be a lie, and you deserve better than that. There are other networks competing for this role, and the winner isn't crowned yet. But if you ask me, my honest opinion, XRP is one of the strongest candidates on the entire planet for the settlement layer of a digital financial system. Not because a screenshot told me, because of what it was engineered to do. So let me ask you the question directly, and I want you to answer it in your head before you scroll to the comments. If the global financial system really is moving onto digital rails, yes or no? Do you believe a network built specifically for cross-border settlement has a real seat at that table? Just yes or no? Hold your answer, because whatever you just said, it's about to be tested against something concrete. Now here's my bet, my genuine bet. I don't think the moment XRP proves itself will look like a rocket on a chart. I think it'll look boring. A partnership announcement here, a tokenized fund there, a central bank pilot nobody covers. And then one day, you'll look back and realize the rails were finished while everyone was staring at the price. Now let's talk price, because I know that's on your mind, and I'm going to do it the honest way. You've seen the videos promising $1,000 XRP, $5,000 XRP. And look, I understand the excitement, but I love you too much to feed you a fantasy. For XRP to reach $1,000, its total market value would have to be around $60 trillion, larger than the entire US stock market combined. Is it impossible forever? Who am I to say forever? But as a near-term plan, that's a dream, not a forecast. And you don't need the dream, because the real numbers are already exciting enough. Look at what serious institutions are actually saying. The global bank Standard Chartered, through its head of digital assets research, Jeffrey Kendrick, laid out a documented roadmap for XRP. Not a meme, a published bank forecast. Their path runs to roughly $7 in 2027, around $12 to $13 by 2028, and about $28 by 2030. Sit with that. $28. From where XRP trades today, that's a life-changing move. It's an opinion, not a promise, and it depends on real catalysts landing. But it comes from a major bank, not a viral post. And it's built on the exact story we just walked through. Regulation maturing, and XRP being used at scale as financial infrastructure. That's the difference between hope and hype. Hype needs a $1,000 fairy tale to get you excited. Hope only needs the truth, because the truth here is already remarkable. And here's the part I really want you to hold on to. Right now, XRP is trading near the bottom of its range, far below its high. Most people see that and feel fear. I want you to reframe it. The quiet part of the cycle, when the crowd has walked away and the price is boring, historically, that has been the part that mattered most for the people paying attention. Not a guarantee, a pattern. So here's my promise to you for the rest of this video. I'm going to show you exactly why I believe the foundation being poured right now is bigger than any single price target, and why patience, not panic, is the real edge. Let's zoom all the way out and bring it home. Here's what's real, today, that you can verify. In the United States, regulators have already moved to treat XRP as a digital commodity rather than a security, a status the industry spent years fighting for. Lawmakers are working, slowly and messily, on writing those rules permanently into law. That process is still in motion as I record this, and honestly, it may pass soon, or it may slip further down the road. Washington moves at its own pace, and I'll always tell you the truth about where it stands rather than sell you a deadline. But the direction of travel is unmistakable. The walls that kept big institutions on the sidelines are coming down, one by one. At the same time, spot XRP funds are now trading in US markets. giving regular investors and institutions a simple, regulated way in. Ripple keeps most of its escrowed XRP locked up on a predictable schedule, releasing only what it needs. The behavior of a company that believes its asset is worth far more later than today. And Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's own CEO, has said plainly that XRP is the company's most important asset. Companies don't talk that way about something they're planning to dump. Now layer the big picture on top. A Putin advisor warning that the world's money is moving digital. America building the legal rails for it. Stablecoins quietly creating new demand for US debt. And underneath all of it, a settlement network that was designed for this exact future, 13 years before the world was ready for it. None of this promises you a price. I want to be crystal clear about that one more time. But it tells you something more important than a price. It tells you the story is still in its early chapters. The infrastructure is being built right now, while it's unglamorous, while the charts are quiet, while most people have looked away. That's not a reason to be reckless. Please, never bet the roof over your head on any of this. But it might be a reason to pay attention while it's still early enough to matter. Because the biggest opportunities in history never felt obvious in the moment. They felt boring. They felt too quiet, right up until they weren't. This has been Crypto with BHW. We're early. The foundation is being poured, and I'll see you in the very next one.